Welcome back to another worthless mutts. Another, I guess I'm gonna call this the Sunday sermon. I'm gonna try not to be as long as the previous video. I'll do my best to keep this at least under half hour, at least to say the least. I don't. I'm not much of a talker, but somehow I'm talking way too much in these videos, and I really gotta. That's something I really got to work on. In this, we'll call it the crusade against these worthless mutts. And we say against these worthless mutts, but it's truly against these dog owners and this dog industry. At the end of the day, it is people that are ushering in and pushing this dog nuttery. Dogs, as much as I hate dogs, and I do, are in a way they are victims of this dog nuttery culture. This dog culture to the dog is nothing but slavery. It's nothing but abuse. It's about control. It's about, this egocentric attitude that many people have. And they use the dog as a way to cope with insecurities that they have. This dog is nothing more than a prop. The dog is used for many things. The dog is used for the police, with farmers, with doctors in hospitals, schools, etc., etc. The dog is being used. And if these dog lovers, this dog industry, really cared about these dogs, then they wouldn't be as enslaved. They wouldn't be enslaving them, period. But these dogs are nothing but slaves. They are abused by these dog lovers. They are abused by these dog trainers. And the real enemy are these dog owners and this dog trainer. And they're so ignorant to their own behavior towards the so-called animal that they say they love and they care about and their best friend. But a dog is no more than just a prop. These dogs are just being used like any prop, like any toy. You use something till it gets old and broken, and what do? You throw it away. Just like dogs, they get old fast, and what happens? You throw it away. They're just used, and you get another one that can do exactly the same thing. They're props. They're props and tools, weapons used. They've been used for many years. And I've read somewhere, I think I was trying to find dog relationship with, I guess, in Islam. Like, what does Islam say about dogs? And even back in the day, they used dogs as a guard. They used dogs to help protect their livestock from other animals. And again, dogs are just nothing but props used in various ways. And I think that's what may have happened. I don't know 100%, but that's what may have happened back in the day. They use these dogs as props, as guard dogs, as weapons, and then slowly it emerged into what it is today. This so-called domesticated dog the so-called best friend. And what do these owners do with them today? They use them. They use these things because they're insecure. They're missing something in their lives. So they use these ugly, nasty, worthless things to fix their problems, to help them cope with their problems. Again, we don't need dogs. No one needs a dog. Dogs need us. Dogs need us. They need humans. But at the same time, these dogs will attack and kill every human they see. Even the dog is dumb enough not to realize that. Even real animals know not to eat every single prey. Even they know about balance. But dogs, they will maul every single human they see. If it wasn't for this domesticated dog nonsense, dogs will be roaming free, mauling everything they touch. So what do we do? What do we do? And how do we cope with this? Again, the only way we can get through this dog nuttery, this dog culture, it's to eliminate the dog. And I knew this even as a child. The only way to get rid of them is to eliminate them. You can't be passive. You can't negotiate. It doesn't work, especially with these dog owners. You can't negotiate with them because these dog lovers are unreliable. They're immature. They're reckless. They're disgusting. They're selfish. They have this egocentric dog nuttery kind of personality. They center their life around the dog. At the end of the day, they probably abuse and they enslave and they hate this dog too, maybe. Again, I gotta stop saying again. I say it so many times. I rewatched the video and I say it again a lot. I'm gonna try not to say it so much. What we need to do is eliminate these dogs. Again, we can't negotiate with dog lovers and these owners. Even with so many laws in place, so many recent events and experiences, these dog lovers, they don't learn. They don't care. They don't want to learn. They're selfish. They're reckless. They allow their dogs to rule. At the same time, they enslave their dog. They want to be the boss of their dog, or to be a boss of something. They want their dog or someone or something to greet them at the door every day. Because when you're a child, mom and dad is greeting you, grandma, grandpa is greeting you as a child. But as soon as you get older, it slowly stops. And as soon as you're an adult, it stops. You're living by yourself and you're seeking that attention. And where are you going to get it from? From a worthless mutt. You're going to use that worthless mutt as a prop for your own selfish benefits. For your own selfish benefits. That's why they use these dogs. And that's just one example. It is in my opinion, if this makes sense, it's a lose-lose win situation here. Because we can't negotiate. We can't rely on these dog owners. And if we decide to just, let's say, again, this dog culture is slavery. It's slavery. It's abusive. And we can't just let these dogs free in the world, because again, these dogs can't survive on their own, and these dogs will stay around us annoy us, bother us, and attack us. So the only way to win is to eliminate them. And I mean that, to eliminate these worthless mutts. You can't negotiate with the dog. You can't talk about it with a dog owner. You can't set these things free because, again, you put them in the woods, a jungle, they will die. They will die and they will shiver up and die because they can't hunt. They can't. There are many videos on YouTube proving that dogs cannot survive on their own. You put a dog out in the wild or abandon a dog, what does it do? It shivers up, stays in one place, and becomes overly aggressive, and it dies. It can't do anything. And as soon as a person comes by, this dog goes extra aggressive. Even these humans that want to save these worthless abandoned dogs, they're aggressive, very aggressive towards them. And it takes them so much time to humble these worthless mutts. Because again, they can't survive on their own. That's why they're pushed and forced into various homes. So many people have them because they cannot survive on their own. And that's a fact. That is a fact. Dog lovers will deny it because, again, this is why they're irresponsible, they're immature, and they're reckless. You can't rely on dog owners. You can't. If they can't see the facts and admit when they're wrong about these dogs, we can't rely on them. We know that these dog lovers are liars. We know a lot of them are very evil. Some of them are full of trickery. They're just bad people. And I have this theory that a lot of dog nuts develop characteristics from their dog. Dogs are selfish. Dogs are irresponsible. They're dumb. They're incompetent. They're annoying. And that's what some dog owners become. I really do want to get rid of these dogs. I really do. As a child, many encounters that I had, and I'm thankful that I wasn't bitten, but it could have gone that way. So many close encounters. And one after the next, it's like, hey, I want to get rid of these things because they're bothering me. These owners aren't doing anything. And as I was saying, dogs cannot take care of themselves. That's what I was going to read again. So, kind of recapping back on the last video, Cesar Millan, do you sit? Like as I was saying, dogs do not live in packs. There's no alpha structure, no dog pack, no dominance, no, tough dog, whatever you want to call it. There's none of that. Dogs, stray dogs, they operate on their own. There's no structure. And they're very selfish. As it says, there are various reasons. The main reason is that they do not need to form packs. They live in areas where there is no big game. Where do they live? Amongst people. We're talking about stray dogs. They live amongst people. Other domesticated dogs, they push them and force them into homes where they don't have to, fend for food with other dogs because they're the only dog in there. Only dog in the home. Dogs are scavengers. They don't hunt for food. And this is why dogs would fail being dumped out in the wild. And raccoons are scavengers. Skunks are scavengers. To name a few. But yet they do very, very well on their own. Very well. But dogs, people call them very smart, smartest animal, man's whatever. They call them this, they praise them, they worship them, but they cannot fend for themselves. They scavenge rather than hunt for their food. So they don't need to coordinate a chase. Yeah. What do dogs do when they first see something? They bark. And what does that do? It alerts the prey. The prey says, okay, I gotta run. The prey runs. This dog ends up starving. Their scavenging can be done alone, which they do. And usually a dog will get food if he doesn't have to share with others. So usually a dog will get more food if he doesn't have to share with others. They're selfish. One of the most selfish animals out there. Animals, excuse me. I said animals, but dogs are selfish. Selfish creatures out there, period. They also add, so dogs form packs when they need to hunt cooperatively, but again, they do not stay in structured packs like wolves or maybe like lions. They don't do that. They're pretty much on their own, fending for themselves. They're not going to share food with any other one. If they're in a pack of dogs, if they're in a pack or a group of dogs and one has food, they're not going to share. They're thinking about themselves. It's about them. They also add there are cases of dogs buddying up with one or more dogs for days at a time, and dogs being drawn into proximity to each other by food sources. Just like stray dogs. However, none of the above population form packs the way wolves do. They say scavenging far outpaces hunting as primary food acquisition activity, another difference from wolves who hunt much more. Look at these. They look dead. Look at them. They look wasted. And this is what people are glorifying and they're trying to save. And they're worshiping these worthless mutts. They look disgusting. They look like they've given up. And people want to worship them. These are all the same dogs that attack people and children, left to right. Again, they're scavengers. They're not hunters. They're not survivors. Dogs are unfit. Dogs are unfit to survive in the wild. And again, we can't trust these owners to keep these dogs secure. We can't. So the only option is to eliminate them. As soon as they're eliminated, hey, these dogs, if there is a doggy heaven, they get to go to doggy heaven and rest and eat whatever they want. They're happy. I'm happy. Let's get it over with. I'm trying to word this properly. Isn't it slavery? Isn't it weird to take a dog and have it live amongst beings that are not its own kind. Isn't that like weird? If a child, let's for example Tarzan or the Jungle Book kid. These are stories, fictional stories, obviously. They lived with animals. They were raised by animals, amongst animals. And the outside world looked at it as strange that this kid, this grown man, is living amongst animals. And what do you think these people did? In various variants of the story, they take the kid, and they try to force him to live with humans because they view this kid living with these animals is not right. They view this kid as a savage, and we gotta straighten out this kid out right. Straighten out this guy right. This is not right. Isn't it the same thing with dogs? You take a dog from wherever and you stuff this dog in a house that is filled with humans. So one dog, usually with so many humans. Isn't that a little weird? Don't you think this dog, again, one of the reasons why people get dogs because they're lonely, they need a companion. Don't they think this dog gets lonely? Being amongst beings that are not its own kind? It's like abducting a kid from a family, stuffing him with another family. This kid is not gonna feel like he fits in. Good example, Loki. He didn't feel like he fitted in with the Asgardians. He was taken, and he didn't feel like he fitted in. So people go out there, they adopt these dogs, and they stuff them in an environment that is not about dogs. They stuff this dog in an environment that is filled with people, humans, big people, small people. Isn't this a little bit abusive in a way? Isn't this a little strange? To take some random creature and say, hey, you're going to live in this house with all these people. They're not your kind, but you gotta live here. And if you act out, I'm going to feel guilty. I'm going to punish you. You got to live by our rules. You got to sit when I say sit. You only eat when I say eat. You only shit when I say shit. You only walk when I say walk. This is slavery, isn't it? Dog culture is slavery. If any child was abandoned and living amongst animals, no one would think it's normal. No one would think it's right. They wouldn't just see, hey, a child living amongst, I don't know, wolves, and just ignore it. No. You think it's crazy. It's not right. This child needs help. He needs to live amongst its own kind. But what about these dogs stuffed in houses with humans? Forced to live a way that isn't natural for these abominations. Again, they gotta train these dogs, enslave these dogs, condition, brainwash these dogs to behave a certain way. And even then, this dog still acts and behaves out of order. What do you expect, though? Like, what do you expect? You're abducting, you're enslaving a dog and putting inside your house, filled with humans, creatures that are not even its own. Of course dogs are going to, of course dogs are going to act a little crazy. Maybe that's why all these attacks happen. Maybe these dogs don't want to be there. locked up in a home with people that these creatures that are not his kind, forcing them to live in these homes, forcing them to do this, forcing them to do that, not to do this. It has to end. This dog culture has to end. I think it's, and this is coming from a dog hater, someone that wants to eliminate dogs, which might sound hypocritical for this whole message, but it's abusive. I'd rather just swing it one time and end it than having these dogs suffer and being used as props, being used like a toy. And like all toys end up being broken, end up getting old, we don't use anymore, they become lost, and we move on to the next thing. Just like a video game. You play it for a while, after a while it gets boring. A year later, you move on to the next thing. Dogs are nothing but props. Used by this psychopathic dog culture. They're being used. They're being used. These I call them dog lovers. Maybe I should stop using that term. These are like dog abusers. That's what I should be using. I say dog abusers. Because anyone who owns a dog and locks them in a home, tells them what to do or not do, isn't that slavery? Isn't that just like abducting some person, sticking them into some other house wherever and saying you can't do this, you can't do that? Isn't that slavery? Isn't that not slavery? Is that not cruel? Oh, you feed the thing, but you're still bossing him around. It's like I'm locked up in this cell. They still feed me, but it's still cruel. Like jail, like prison. It's like the same thing. But again, the dog industry, run by probably very wealthy people who probably don't even own dogs. They probably know dogs are stupid. But yet, they can make a profit from them. They can make billions from these dogs. And that's what they're doing. That's what they are doing. They're making the money off of these dogs and off of ignorant dog owners. And at the end of the day, the dog industry does not care. Doesn't care about these dog owners, about their children. They don't care about these dogs, period. They don't. I don't think they really do. I don't think the ones on the top of this industry pulling strings, I don't think they truly care about these dogs. I don't think they do. Because the dogs they have created look horrible. They look like they're suffering. This is the same dog industry that is uplifting the ban on pit bulls after so many attacks. And we just finished 2-3 years about being safe. Safety. 2-3 years about being safe, and what do? Uplift a ban to allow these child killers. Makes no sense. The same government that was pouring out all these rules and regulations. You can't do this. You gotta wear this to keep safe. Everywhere you go about keeping safe. Flyers, posters, keep safe. All this stuff. But now they uplift this ban on pit bulls, they know that these pit bulls are dangerous. And all of a sudden, being safe just doesn't exist anymore. Being safe doesn't matter. Because they don't care. They don't care who dies. Because they're making money. And not just the dog industry, the health industry is making money. I think it was the second dog attacks were the second leading cause of death or injuries. So the hospitals, the health industry as well, is making a lot of bank. And that's probably why. Again, I think, again, with the snake, the health industry and the dog industry, they might be working hand in hand. Because, again, it's all about the money. You get attacked by a dog, where are you going to go? You're going to go to the hospital, got to pay a fee, etc., etc. The vets as well. You know, your dog gets attacked, etc. You got to pay out that money. So it's this big, I think it's this big system. It's this big, you know, it's a big pyramid. It's a big scheme going on with these dogs. And it's the same people again, I'm repeating myself, it's the same people again that reinforce these safety rules for 2-3 years. They locked down people from their jobs. Various countries were locked down at home just to keep safe. So you're telling me they can lock people in their houses, but they won't do anything about these worthless mutts. I remember seeing to Walmart. I don't shop there, but I've seen lines at Walmart that were stretching all the way out to maybe the road. People waiting in line just to keep safe. Just so they can shop for some junk food. They stayed in line to keep safe. They wore face masks and those other stuff. They got the you know what to keep safe. They made it a law. You had to have this in order to do this. So you're telling me after so long of that, and they cannot do anything about these dogs, and they help keep the children and people safe. They have laws for driving, laws for jaywalking, laws for when you go to work. There are rules you got to follow to be safe. You got to wear certain shoes, certain hats or helmets, certain gloves, PPE, all this stuff they say to keep safe. They have gun laws, gun safety, fire safety, water safety, electric safety, park safety, sports safety. But yet dogs have killed a lot of people, a lot of children, and their best response is to uplift and to unban these pit bulls. That makes no sense whatsoever. In the news, 4-year-old girl dies after being bitten by a dog in Dallas. Yet again, the 4-year-old girl died after being bitten by a dog multiple times in Dallas Saturday morning. Police said this happened before 8 a.m. Just a little blurb again. And they add no further details were released about the dog and what led up to the attack. And like always, there had nothing. Like, all you have to do is mind your own business and dogs will attack you. This is a fact. You don't have to provoke. You don't have to be in the same house as a dog. You could be a 1-day-old. You could be a 4-year-old like this individual, and you can still get attacked. Still get attacked. And I'm surprised. This is likely. I guarantee this is another pit bull. Yet another again on July the 9th. Yesterday, letters, July 9th. Hard to believe those dogs haven't been put down yet. This was regarding the. I did this on the Canada video. I covered this. 8-year-old lady was gardening and pit bulls again attacked her and killed her as she was gardening. So this article is about these dogs again not being put down. And they say it's insane and we're baffled that the city can't seem to do anything without going to the courts for more power. Our laws and bylaws that weak. I say Do it yourself. If if we were all smart and knew about this dog culture, knew about pit bulls, etc., I think if we had the knowledge of it, the awareness of it, we'd be prepared. We would always be prepared. Always have a backup plan, an escape route. You see a dog, what's your escape route? Do you have a weapon on you? What things you can use to protect yourself from stuff? But it doesn't happen. People don't think about dog attacks because it's not taught. It's not taught about these things. They have these little articles here and there. Then they show, this dog propaganda about groping and loving dogs, all this garbage. So it's not taught to prepare yourself. It isn't. And don't listen to these dog trainers about how to defend yourself against these dogs. Don't listen to them. The best way to defend yourself is to have a weapon and be armed at all times. Whether it's a bat, a metal iron stick, a knife, mace, pepper spray. If you have a blowtorch, anything. If you have a storm breaker, just use it against these things. Because these things, they don't care. They have no off and on switch. Their goal is to attack and kill. And if that's their goal, you got to prepare yourself to attack and kill these things as well. No worship allowed. Well, your worship, if you do not want to be called out worship, get a real job. Not sure what that means. Oh, something totally... no idea what this is. But anyways, yeah. So this 83-year-old lady was attacked by 3 pit bulls, and the dogs have not been put down yet, or nothing has happened. Nothing. And I think it should be everyone's responsibility to prepare themselves. Just like in maybe the medieval days, everyone was, I'm not saying everyone, but most people had something, a knife, a sword. They're all prepared. They're all warriors, ready to take down these things. And again, we're too comfortable. When we're too comfortable, we're not prepared. And when we're unprepared, then that leaves more opportunity for your own demise. So I say, always be ready. In this dog culture, always be ready. Go to the park. You go to your backyard because you never know. The same lady died in her backyard. A lot of these dogs kill their owners in their own home. So you always got to stay strapped with something. A knife, a gun, anything you can get. An axe. A double-sided axe. I don't know the swords. Those like medieval swords. Those Japanese kind of swords. You got to stay ready. We can't keep relying on this government that also uplifts these bands to help us. Like, it makes no sense. This is a government that is allowing these dogs to exist, and you're gonna run to them for help. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. I say, deal with it yourself. Because if these people want to allow these pit bulls, any dogs to exist, then you have every right, every human right. And this doesn't have to be written, doesn't have to be said. You have every natural right to strike down any dog that you feel threatened against, that is attacking or attacking someone else. People out there, they shoot innocent animals, they kill them for fun, for sport. So there should be no problem killing a dog for a purpose, killing a dog with a reason. So if that dog's going to attack you, you feel threatened, you should have every right to kill that dog in the spot. And if you want, just like these hunters, you can take a picture take a selfie with these dead dog with a smile on your face, because a lot of these hunters, they kill innocent animals. After that, they take pictures of them with a big smile on their face. So I say, hey, you kill a dog, get a selfie with it, smile, cut off the dog's head, and if you want to use the fur as carpet, as slippers, I wouldn't, but you go ahead, because these hunters are doing the same thing. A lot of these dog nuts are hunters. They're killing innocent animals. So if they can kill innocent animals for no reason, ducks, deer, etc., list goes on. We have every right to protect ourselves. This thought does not have to be written down. No government, president, prime minister, mayor has to say what we can and cannot do. This should be natural to defend ourselves, just like we can kill a fly or a bee, a cockroach. We should be able to swat and kill a dog if we feel threatened. I'm gonna end it there. This is another Worthless Mutts, and remember, it's okay to hate dogs. Thank you for joining me, and have a good week. And I hope everyone has another great dog-free week. Thanks.